Nobody can shame me for the decision that I made. So if you try it, hola, welcome to my channel. I'm Azrie'l. Um, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So this is why I chose to get an abortion. All right, so when I originally got pregnant with my first son, Aiden, this was in college. I was about 18, 17, 18 when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I came home to my parents, told them, and I wanted to get an abortion, but their beliefs about that is no, pretty much. And so I had my oldest son Aiden, then I had Messiah, then I had Adonis. But this time around with my fourth child, I simply was not feeling it, none of it. The pregnancy, the excitement for the baby, like there was a little bit of excitement because I enjoy being a mother, but other than that, I had no desire to keep the baby, and I'm going to go into why. I wanted my power back, and what I mean by that is when I had found out that I was pregnant, it really sent me into another deep depression, honestly. And I don't even like throwing that word around, but that's what it was. I was not motivated by nothing. I was not happy about nothing. I was very miserable, very not myself. Like I just did not feel like myself at all. And so oftentimes women aren't aware that when men, how do I want to word this? Sometimes men have intentions and they know what they're doing when they're siphoning a woman's energy, when they're trying to take a woman's energy because they see that she has a certain glow, or that she knows these certain things, or maybe she got a lot of money. Either unconsciously sometimes or consciously, these things happen, especially through sex. Um, and oftentimes, if you pay attention, as a woman, if you pay attention to what these guys are saying during sex, it'll often tell you, because I've heard certain phrases during sex, and it was just very apparent of, I needed and wanted my power back, because the person that I was tied to, which was my ex, when we was discussing why I wanted the abortion, he was very much against it and trying to pinpoint it as if I was like a bad person for killing a baby or killing a child. And I remember specifically him saying, this will be the best experience I have. It was just very unsettling from the way that it was worded, because he was trying to convince me to keep the child, even though I was very certain and very sure that I didn't want to. So wanting my power back, wanting your power back is very important, because that is where your confidence lies. That is your essence. You cannot give your power or let somebody else have control over you, or have say so over your life, or say so over your decisions, as to where at that point they're taking your power from you. So that was very important to me, not allowing somebody else to make the decision for me this second time around, when I knew for sure that I wanted an abortion. Nobody was going to make that decision for me but myself. I was confident. It gave me more confidence in my decision making in general, and this is in relation to having my power back, um, because growing up I lacked confidence and I lacked certainty of making my own decisions. I will always ask other people for advice, or trying to get insight on things, and which I still do sometimes, depending. But with this decision being made on my own as an adult, a grown woman, it really gave me an extra boost of confidence to move forward with making the intuitive decisions that I need to make for myself in order to, grow and excel and move forward, and not let nobody, once again, have say so over what I know is best for me, which is very, 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 very important. The reason why I chose is because I was unprepared financially, emotionally, and physically. When my emotions get to wavering and, being the water that they are, that is when I may fall short. But It was more so on the physical and financial side of it, because I had just had my son Adonis, who is about 19 months now. So at that time, he was around 16, 17 months. And I'm like, I just had a baby. Granted, yes, I should have been more careful with sex at the time. So I'm still, in postpartum, and I forget how long it takes a woman to get out of postpartum, but it takes more than a year, pretty much. And when it comes to the financial side of it, yeah, I could not be irresponsible again and have another child when I know that I'm not financially secure and financially stable to have a fourth child, especially with someone that I will have to co-parent with yet again. So that just wasn't happening for me. This reason, I trusted my intuition. I trusted myself to make this decision. When it comes to using your intuition, I don't know how to explain it, but it's pretty much how other people explain it. It's always that small voice in your head, that gut intuition, that gut feeling. Me being a generator, I have to very much tap into my gut feeling. That is where my intuition will come from. If it's a definite yes, it's a yes. If it's a definite no or a hesitation, it's a no. Especially if it's a hesitation, it's a no. And so yeah, it was just more easier to trust myself, because I'm looking at the bigger picture here. Like, later on down the line, now I'm going to have a fourth person to co-parent with. It's already enough co-parenting with 3 other people. And the fact that we would be raising this child basically in different states, it just would have been too much. And I'm like, that's just not how. And I wasn't excited as I was with my other pregnancies anyway. So that was already building like resentment and frustration and all these other type of emotions that would have had to been worked through. I'm kind of mixing these bullet points in because they just all tie together. I'm not mixing them on purpose. I refuse to co-parent again with someone immature. That was one of my biggest reasons as well. And I told him that. He asked me why, why not? Why don't you want to have a child with me, basically? And I'm like, I'm not trying to co-parent with somebody else that is ignorant, especially to somebody that does not value what I say, that does not listen to what I say. Like, I'm sitting here explaining to you how I feel, why I'm feeling this way, what's going on, and you're just bypassing all of that shit. And if that's gonna be the case, this is definitely not it. It's just not gonna work out. I've gotten to a point as to where if what I'm saying and what I'm expressing is not having no type of understanding, no type of comprehension, no type of value coming through to you, it's a dead end. Any connection we have is going to be a dead end. Last point is, I wanted to finally end a cycle, especially the cycle of having, I don't know if I really believe in that, having children out of wedlock. I'm still neutral with that, but definitely in the cycle of being in unsafe relationships, especially emotionally, I'll say. Now, not physically. And in the cycle of co-parenting, the cycle of dating someone who isn't for me, who is not of my caliber spiritually, and mainly spiritually. I've been working on myself emotionally. So the guys that I've been attracting, pretty much we've been all in the same pool, emotion wise and financial wise. But nonetheless, I did not want another cycle of being somewhere I didn't need to be, overextending my stay with someone I didn't need to be with. And it's just that simple. Sometimes when you finally reach a certain point of understanding yourself and understanding your life experiences or understanding your patterns, it just becomes that simple. Your answers just become very clear, and it just becomes a no. with no hesitation. So now I'm going to get into my last bullet point, and I'm going to share the story of my experience that I had, of why I chose these reasons not to go forth with having this child. And because of my unhealthy connection to my ex, pretty much. When we met when I was in high school. I was a junior or senior. Okay, so we met when I was a junior or senior. It doesn't matter. We met back in high school, okay? We dated in high school. You can say, to me, I guess, he was my high school sweetheart. I really loved him, adored him, appreciated him. I think in my mind at the time, he really showed me what love felt like and what it was, through how he cared for me and, you know, taking me out and affirming me, but also just showing me the funness in life. He's a Leo, and so Leos bring that loving, warm energy, and they bring the fun, and they bring the love, they bring the affection. And so we dated, but during that time that we were dating, we would be on and off for sure, and that was another cycle. Having these on and off relationships, either it's gonna be on or it's gonna be off. There ain't no in between. But we had these instances as when we were off, he would go to my phone and check it to see if I was talking to other people, and that's where sort of the verbal abuse will come. I remember the last time that we were talking, we was in an off period, and I was at his place. I guess he was deciding, you know, making a decision to make it official between us again, and he had went through my phone for whatever reason, insecurity reasons, and he started playing Moneybag Yo. Like, I went to the bathroom, came back, and he was playing Moneybag Yo, Bitch You Played, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So he told me. So stopped talking to him then. Then we hadn't talked for a very long time, probably like 5+ years. And so when he finally hit me up through Messenger, and I need y'all to understand this part, when somebody hits you up talking about, you know, I missed you, or we're meant to be together, just such shit like that, or, you know, I've been thinking about you, yada yada yada. Now the feelings were definitely still mutual because he was my favorite person. I had missed him just as much, thinking about him, you know, kind of wanted him back, but the approach after so many years was just very dry, and I fell for it because it was this person that I knew at this certain point in time during this time period that I really loved, but also I was in a vulnerable stage from losing my friends and from being in postpartum. So, you know, me wanting affection at that time, and me thinking that, okay, this is my person and he's came back and we're just gonna move on with our merry little lives. That's the mindset that I was in at the time when he originally approached me again. But I'm not going to give all the details. If y'all want a longer detailed version, I'll make another video because I don't want this to be too long. The bottom of the line is, when we reconnected, I did have many signs to pay attention to, and I'll probably do another video on that as well. But when we took our cabin trip, it was originally just supposed to be me for my birthday, honestly. But I had invited him, obviously, because I missed him, wanted to reconnect, wanted to get to know each other, yada yada yada. During this cabin trip, I had asked Spirit to make it very clear to me, to give me a clear sign that if this isn't the relationship for me, or if I'm not supposed to be here with this person, let me know. So I get back to the cabin, he wakes up from his nap, we get into some type of discussion. I forget what we were talking about, but he ended up calling me a dumb broad in the mid of discussion. And it really caught me off guard, and it really hurt me because I've been emotionally and verbally abused throughout pretty much my whole life. You know, being called this and being called that, and especially by my parents. So when it comes from somebody that you really trust and that you love and care for, it hurts differently. And so in that moment, it really hurt me, and I ended up calling him a bitch, and I meant it, because what you did there was a bitch ass move. And so he starts breaking down because he can't believe I just called him that, and he seen that I was very upset and just very over what just happened, and very probably, hopefully he seen that I was over him, but I don't think he fully seen that. But in that moment, I made it up in my mind. Obviously, when I asked Spirit for the sign, this was it, and I said, okay, it really did hurt me to hear that come out of his mouth towards me. And just the fact of seeing his mask slip from the breakdown. Now, I'm not invalidating his crying or how he felt, but something was off in that moment. And it was a little frightening for me because, I don't know his temperament anymore. I don't know what he's capable of doing. I don't know what he's going to do. So I'm consoling him, comforting him, and I had to play cool for the rest of the weekend. But I don't think that was the weekend that I had actually got pregnant by him. It was the Monday before we went, because we had got an Airbnb. But it doesn't matter. You really don't need to know the timeline for real. Just know that it happened. So I kind of had a feeling that I was before I even knew. But what made it definite was when I woke up on Sunday morning and I was very nauseous. And it took me a while to tell him, because originally I didn't want to keep the baby. I wanted to get an abortion. And so I think maybe after a month I told him, and he was like, well, I kind of figured, that you were, but he didn't reach out or anything. And so this is when we had the discussion, well, what you want to do. Originally I told him I wanted the abortion. He didn't agree with it. I gave him my reasons why. And I did renege on my decision, because originally I felt a little bit guilty and kind of shameful for wanting to go through with the act right, because it is a whole life, right? But I think what really sold it for me was the experiences I had at the cabin, the clear sign, and just the fact that I was very confident in my answer of, no, I don't want to do this. I actually don't want to have a child with you. Even if I said, okay, well, I could, have the child, breastfeed the child for a year or two, and then you can take the child and we can co-parent. It all sounded fine in the moment of when we had this discussion in person, but with me still experiencing the pregnancy on my own and going through the emotions and everything, and the nauseousness was horrible. I couldn't fucking breathe for shit. I just knew that I had to go ahead and schedule my abortion, in which I did. So the final day that I had it was February 8th, and the day that I was there, he ended up FaceTiming me. And this is the crazy part, because we haven't been talking. He's been texting me prior to this. He's been texting me for like 2 weeks straight, I think, at least, saying, hey, have a good day, love you. And I just haven't been responding. I've been leaving them on red. And so when the appointment came, he tried to FaceTime me. I said, wow, how ironic. And I didn't answer it. And so I gave it a while. Later that evening, I sent him a text stating that, the pregnancy has ended and I don't wish to talk. I don't want to be contacted. Please respect that. Hope you be well. That's it. So that's the video. This is the rundown of why I chose to get an abortion. And I will do another video on my actual experience of it. How did I prepare for it? Because it's very important that you prepare if you're going to go through something like that, that you prepare for it spiritually, especially spiritually, but mentally and emotionally as well. So and financially. But we'll do another video. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please be respectful with them. Leave them in the comment section. Please do engage. I do love engagement. Nobody can shame me for the decision that I made. So if you try it, I don't know. I don't know. It's not gonna get through to me. Thank you for watching.